Hello everyone, it's Pat at Beads and Plenty More, and today I'm going to talk about making this bracelet that I'm wearing here, and in particular making this piece of tubing that's made with peyote that covers up the magnetic clasp. And also the bracelet is made out of multi-layers of cord. In this one I used this 1mm wax cotton cord, comes in a few different colors. And then the one I'm going to make today, I'm going to use leather, and I've chosen this forest green color leather, and I've got several colors of that as well. These are on our website if you're interested in buying that leather. It's 1.5 and it works up very nicely. So I'm using a 6-pound fire line, and I'm just going to do a little piece to show you how this gets started, and then we'll go on to how to put it into the circle. So I'm going to put a stopper bead. I've chosen a little black bead here just so that it shows up against my other beads. And we just put that down towards the tail and then zip it back the other way so that it will hold on to the end there. Ooh. There we go. So now I've got cream and green beads here, and I'm going to put on 16 beads and alternate them, because in the design I did is like a stripe, so I use one row of each color. But the starter row has to alternate because the first row is actually going to be row 1 and 2, and that means we have to have one of each color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. I'm using Delica beads. They are what I consider the best for peyote because they fit together nicer than round beads would. They're kind of a little bit of a tube. Okay, so there's my unit of alternating beads. Now the end bead was cream, so I'm going to go into the second row and pick up a cream bead. And then to form the peyote, I'm going to then jump the cream bead and go into the green one. I'll snap that up together. There we go. Get that around there. So then when I bring that up, it's going to put the cream one on top of the other cream one. So I'll go on to the next one to maybe make it a little bit more obvious. So pick up a cream, and I skip the cream and go into the green. And again, we pick up a cream, skip the cream here, and go into the green. I do find a short needle works best for this because we're having to go into those tiny beads. You could probably use a long needle too if you're more comfortable with a long needle. So go in, pick that cream one up again, skip the cream, and into the green. This is a fairly simple pattern in peyote, which is good for beginners because the two colors help you see where you're at a little bit easier than trying to do it all in one color, or of course patterning can be complicated in any design. So into the green, pick up cream, skip the cream, and go into the green. The starting is the hardest part of this. So now last one, pick up a cream and go into the green. And once you get to the end, don't go through the stopper bead. Once we get to the last bead, we're going to turn the whole work around and go back the other side. So I'm going to tighten that up so that everything sits into a little snake-like pattern there. And we'll just turn the whole thing around, and then we start back the other direction with the green beads instead of the cream this time. So we'll pick up a green bead, go into the cream, and a green, and green goes into the cream color. And you can see that it's starting to make a little bit of a zipper look, where we've got the green ones sticking out past the cream colored ones now. Watch, I'll need to go through one. And of course, like any stitching project, the beginning is the hardest part. Get that going like that. We skip the green one that's sitting lower and go into the cream. So you can probably see now how this is working. And when we get to this other end, these guys aren't sitting quite right here. They have to just turn a bit, like so. There we are. Then we just keep turning it over and going back the other direction each time you do a row in alternating colors. So that piece I'm going to set aside, and I'm going to bring in the piece that I've completed here with the whole size that we need. We can take off our black stopper bead there, and then I'm going to bring these two around, and in the center here we're going to see that the greens match up in a row and the creams match up in a row. So it's like a zipper. We're going to put these two pieces together. I've still got the thread attached here, which is kind of handy. So I'm going to take the green one, it's coming out the green here, and I'll go into the green on this one, the opposite side. So that will form the tube. So that's, bring that up nice and tight so that they sit right close together. Bring it around this way so maybe you can see a little bit better that that's how that's going to work. This is my thread from the beginning, and that I'll weave in. So I'm going to go into the green there, and then the next one will be going through the, let's just get this thread out of the way so that we can maybe see a little better. That thread's going that direction. There we are. So then I need to go through the cream colored one on the opposite side, and that way. This is not doing the same colors each time like we were before, but we have to finish the zipper effect and then pick up the green one on the other side. So I'm going to go all along, finish that up, and then I'm going to weave the threads back into the work, and I'll have a tube that will go over top of the magnetic clasp, which will go in like that. And I'm only going to glue one side of the magnetic clasp so that the other side can open and close. So I'll show you on this one. This side, I believe, is the open side. So the tube sits like that, and we just pop that in like that. Makes it very easy to do up, to have a magnetic clasp. And I've got my group of leather all cut in the right size that it will fit into the end of the clasp here. The first thing I did with these individual pieces is I took the glue and glued at the top here so that my center ones won't just pull out too easily. And now when I glue it into the clasp, I'm going to glue again on the top and around the edges. Now what I chose on this one was to use the G&S Hypo Cement to glue the pieces together. But when I put it into the clasp, because I've got a metal clasp, I'm going to use E6000, a stronger glue that will hold that in there better. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more on this and I'll come back and show you the rest. Okay, so I have the zipper all the way down to the other end. Now I want to show you how to weave the tail ends in to the unit. I've got an open piece here, so I have to make sure that when I finish the thread here, that I'm going to then go into the cream color bead on this side so that I close that hole between the two rows there. There we go. Make sure that thread's not in the way. So then to weave, we're going to go down. We're going to do like a zigzag. We go down and down. Sometimes you can pick up a second bead in the same, nope, not this time. Just following the pattern. There we go. Go down. Maybe one more, I'll go down, and then I'm going to go turn around and go up to form a zigzag. So that, because if you just keep going straight down, the thread will pull out very easily. So there we've gone down to there. If I turn around, catch that bead there. Just follow the pattern or the thread trail so that you don't get any thread showing. Just go one after another that is in the same line. Okay, and then I'm going to take one more up, and then I'm going to turn around and go down again. Always do a zigzag type effect when you're weaving thread in. Now this is also a way you can add thread if you do end up with too short of a thread. I recommend though when you're working that you try and make sure you have enough thread to do the whole project in a small project like this, because it'll take you just about as much time to join your thread as it does to do your whole project. Okay, so we'll go back down a couple of beads. Maybe I'll do a third bead. And then I'm going to cut this thread away. Now to cut your thread, I always recommend that you don't cut with the scissors in like this. Never, never. Go on top of the thread, go in tight on the scissors and pull up, and then just do a snip like that. You cut the thread fairly short that way. So now this thread needs to be put into my unit as well. So we'll just rethread the needle. Always a challenge. There, oh, second try. There we go. So once again, this one doesn't need quite as much weaving because it's already pretty well cinched down from all the beads that went after it. But we still should do a little bit of weaving to make sure that it doesn't pull away. Don't want your unit to fall apart. So I've gone down 3, and I'm going to turn around. I'm on a cream color. I'm just going to do one more zig or zag, whichever way you see it. And I'll pull that needle away, and we'll cut away the same way. Go down tight with the scissors and far up, and just do a snip. Okay, so I've got this side ready to glue into the magnet. I am going to give a materials list so I can tell you the exact sizes of everything. The magnet does have a 6mm opening. So I'm going to use E6000 glue, which is the big tube I've got here. We do like to use E6000 whenever we're working with metal. So I'm using a stick to get just a little bit of glue on. Put it all on that top area, and then a little bit around the edges. Because it's a fairly tight fit into the magnet, I want to get the glue all around, but I don't want to use too much glue. Otherwise it'll push out and get all over the leather. Okay, so I've got that all ready to glue, and we'll just pop that in like that. A little bit there to get rid of. So now my tube is ready to go over top. And as I warned you before, only one side. We don't want to glue both sides, so the easiest way is to take away one side. That way there's not as much chance that we're going to get it. So I just do a small amount of glue all the way around. You don't want to use too much glue with beads because there's openings between the beads, and you'll risk the glue coming through to the front and not looking as nice. So give it a bit of a spread. Use my stick again to smooth it. Like that. And we're just going to slide my little tube over to that point. Now, of course, this glue does take quite a long time to dry, so I'm going to have to leave this now to work on possibly tomorrow to finish my other end. I'm going to try and get those ends all glued together so that they're ready to go into the clasp as well. Anyway, enjoy working with peyote, and you could end up with something like either one of these. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.